Morning, everyone. Welcome to another daily devotion. Today we're going to begin to look at Psalm number 14. Verse 1 says, "The fool has said in his heart, there is no God." What we have here is a picture of our society today, the society in which you and I live. Because one of the things that's so characteristic of our society today, and indeed of much of Western society as a whole, is so many people do not believe in God. With the widespread popularizing of the teaching, or should I say the theory of evolution, and at the same time the almost silence in all of the mainstream media of any sensible reference to God, except when God's name is used as expressing a blasphemy. Many people have become practical atheists. Whenever I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, there was an awareness of God, an acceptance of the fact that God existed, and that played a huge role in how people thought, how they viewed life, and how they behaved. Things are very different today. That has all changed. The belief in God, certainly the God of the Bible, has all but disappeared. Just a couple of generations, and now it's only a small minority of the people who really believe in God. The psalmist says it's the fool who says there is no God. Why does he call him a fool? Well, one reason we could say is because there is so much evidence for God, even in the world around us. Whenever you think of this universe and you think of all the stars and you think of all the planets and you think of where they are fixed, traveling at certain speeds, moving in a certain orbit, they never crash into each other. Whenever you think of our own planet Earth, take one fact that it's tilted at, I think it's 23 degrees towards the sun. If it was 23 and a half degrees, we would all be burnt up and you couldn't live on this planet. If it was tilted a half a degree away from the sun at 22 and a half degrees, this place would be a frozen wilderness. There is ample evidence to show that this world was not created by chance, it was created by God. The complexity of the whole system shows that someone created it. Not only that, there's the inner personal witness to the existence of God. People have a natural idea that there is a God. But what happens is they, as Romans 1 tells us, they suppress the truth in ungodliness. They push the truth away. They don't want God to exist because if he does, then life has to dramatically change. And so they say, there is no God. Whenever the psalmist says that he says it in their heart, he's making the point that even if people don't come right out and say they don't believe in God, they nevertheless live as though there's no God. It looks at life and screams out, I don't believe there is a God. I will live the way I want to live. I don't believe in the God of the Bible. And the sad thing, of course, is, as we can see in our society today, when people in general don't believe in God and live as though there is no God, then sin and wickedness and chaos prevail in society. Look at what happens in societies that are completely atheistic, the likes of the Soviet Union. Under Stalin and communism, millions and millions of Russian people were put to death. That's where the philosophy of no God takes you. The same thing is seen under the rule of communism, under Mao Zedong in China, under Pol Pot. Human rights and any kind of godly living are done away with. And brethren, we live in such a society. And it's a sad thing that this can be written over Much of our own country, and indeed much of Europe, people are saying there is no God. But the psalmist says those people are fools. I trust that you are not a fool, and rather than saying there is no God, that you have a trust, a real faith in the God who is there, as Francis Schaeffer once stated. Have a good weekend and every blessing for the coming Sabbath day. May God be with you.